President General of Nkata Inyom Igbo Foundation.
Nadine, there should be an order because some people don't know when to jump in. There should be an order of that.
Okay, we'll start with the members of Nkata here, starting from the VP, then down to every other person that is here. So after the VP,
that means everybody have to be unmuted because they can't speak.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Unmute them.
Or alternatively, can we skip that and possibly because of time, we can just get the journalists who are here to introduce themselves. I think we know ourselves, the members of Nkata, so we can go ahead to, for want of time, let the journalists who are here introduce themselves and their medium.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Hi, VP, it's good to see you.
Hello, who are the journalists here?
Okay, good evening, Ma. Good evening, everyone present. My name is Francisca Oga from Independent Radio Abuja.
Okay.
Okay, good evening, Ma. Hello. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, I'm hearing you. Go on.
Oh. For the News Agency of Nigeria now.
Good.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Laraba More. I report for the Abuja Inquirer. Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Victor Sin, Agbense, Radio Nigeria.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, good evening.
John Akubo.
My name is John Akubo. I write for the Guardian newspaper.
Okay.
Good evening. My name is Yakin Akinwale. I report for the Cable Online newspaper.
Good evening. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Patience Yejirika. I report for Leadership newspaper.
Pepe.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Everyone. Good evening, everyone. My name is Erebi Ageda, and I write for Nigerian Pilot.
Good evening. Is that all?
I think that's all.
Is that all?
No.
There was a mark on G. Mark on G with somebody.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah. My name is Deborah Ocheni. I write for New Telegraph newspaper. You can also call me Makuji. Thank you.
Makuji.
Yeah.
Good evening. Good.
Introduce yourself. Glorious and Vaughn, introduce yourself. I'm seeing them, but they've not done the introductions.
Are they muted? Maybe they are muted.
They can unmute themselves. They can unmute themselves.
Hello? No. So Chizoba, what up, Chizoba?
Ubeche.
What about Geda Eredi?
She has introduced herself.
She has introduced herself, okay. And
yes, I did. I've introduced myself. Good evening, ma. Good evening, everybody.
Okay. So who is the iPhone?
Nadine, maybe you should go on with it
Okay.
And then let the PG speak.
Okay, so I think possibly people introduce themselves as they come in. So I'll call on the PG to give a brief remark.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the Fourth Estate. Good evening, members of Nkata Inyom, our Vice President, Dr. Inyom Igbo. You're welcome. The Chairman of the Planning Committee for this conference, Ambassador Nonyeraji Sapara, MFR, and our Publicity Secretary, Nedi. You've done a great job by getting this number of journalists. Good evening. By getting this number of journalists to join us tonight. Thank you very much. You've done a great job there. And other members of Nkata that are here, I can't name you all one by one, but you're all welcome. Yes, we thought that it's a good thing and it's conventional that when a great event is going to happen, there should be a pre-event notice to the public to expect the event. There's an event that we have brought to Abuja, and it is called the 2024 Annual Conference of Nkata Inyom Igbo Foundation. And we are headquartered in Enugu in the Southeast. But we decided this year to have this conference in Abuja because we are the theme or what we want to talk about has a national flavor to it. And we thought the best place to do it is in Abuja. Somebody is saying that the network is terrible, they can't hear a thing. I hope it's only her and Agwesin that has a very poor network bandwidth. But I hope every other person is hearing me. Well, we'll continue. We'll continue and make the best out of it. When COVID came, it was a terrible thing, but it came with very bad effects on everybody, the whole world. But one of the good things that came out of COVID is meeting by Zoom. So we're all used to meeting by Zoom now. So we decided to take advantage of meeting by Zoom, to make things easier for people. So the conference that we are going to hold in Abuja on May the 3rd, on December the 3rd, is the annual conference of the Nkata Inyom Igbo. And the theme of the conference is driving transformation through value reorientation inclusive leadership, and sustainability. What does that mean to all of us is, or to people, is what we have come to find out on the 3rd of December in Abuja. And we have lined up an array of very erudite speakers who are going to dissect this theme and give meaning to it. And at the end of the day, we will all be on one page. And that is what made us think of this thing. We thought that the country, or everybody, not only people from the Southeast, but the whole country has lost our values as a people. What makes us tick as Nigerians? What are those things that made us who we were? The values that we had. And we were watching and found that we are losing those values. They are sliding. And we thought that we should come and talk about it and provide solutions and see how we can reorientate our people so that we can come back to what we were before in the past. The things that will make us develop, and the thing that will sustain that development. So that is what we want to do at the conference. I want to, before that, I'm sure that you people will want to know what is Nkata Inyom Igbo. It's an Igbo word. It's an Igbo name. And all it means is that it's a conversation by women. Nkata Inyom Igbo. Conversation by Igbo women. Nkata means conversation. During the COVID pandemic in 2020, everybody was locked in. And we found that, people started talking, conversations started in families. I know that there were other things that happened in families, like rise in domestic violence, but it's also part of talking, it's also part of conversation. So conversation started. People started thinking and, introspecting. People started, thinking deeply about their conditions, the condition of the world, the condition of their environment and all that. And some of us, even though we were locked in, thank God to phones and emails, they were all still working. So we were able to, get together, we were talking, and we thought that, listen, we cannot just be sitting as women and not doing anything and just complaining in our kitchens and in our bedrooms. That it is high time that we should all come together and discuss the problems that are facing us as a nation, as a region, as a people, and see what we can do. How can we as women help in the development of our society? And we got together professional women, because we found that in our region, there are a lot of accomplished women, professional women, women who have, some of them have reached the zenith of their professions. Some are retired. We have judges, we have doctors, we have engineers, we have all sorts of professionals, name it. But we now found that we don't have a voice. We are not speaking out. And we said, no, let us come together and start speaking out, start showing more interest and lending our voices to what is happening in our country. So that is how we named it the Conversation of Women of Igbo land. So membership at that time, and is still, membership is women who are born Igbos or women who are married to Igbo men. So Nkata, like I said, is conversation. Nkata Inyom Igbo means Igbo women. This time around, these Igbo women have decided to come and meet other women in the capital city, meet other men in the capital city. Our organization is an organization that partners with both men and women, partners with NGOs, with government, with anybody that we can partner with. All we want is development. Anything that anywhere we can help, we will do. Anywhere we can give opinion or advice, we are there to do that. And we've done that, a lot of that in the past. We have looked at insecurity in the Southeast, its impact, its origin, its impact, and what can be done about it. And we have given our opinions to our governments around the Southeast. We have, and we have noticed that even when you talk about insecurity, it is not only in the Southeast. It is all over Nigeria. So we have come to Abuja to meet other people and rub minds together and share experiences and move on from there. So I think I would yield the floor to our publicity secretary, who will tell you more about what you people will want to hear, the press. And after that, we are open to answer your questions. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Inyom. Thank you very much, and thank you everyone who is here once again. For the journalists, I'm happy that at least more than 60% of the journalists here are ladies. So I think we are in good hands. That's not to say that the male, even though they have gentlemen of the press, I decided to add and ladies because we understand that initially journalism was the job for men, but these days, you almost have more women journalists than men, so that's impressive. And to think that we are a women group and we have more female journalists here, we are happy about that. So I think we have little time, and I might not have much to say again because the PG has said almost everything that needs to be said. And the only remaining thing I want is that we wish, because I think for people who are here, I just want to point out that Nkata Inyom Igbo is not a regular women group, in quotes, where people feel that, okay, it's frivolities or you talk about other things. We are very aware of what the problems are, and we are seeking solutions. It's not just talk shop or maybe just conferences for its own sake, because we've achieved a lot with the 2 conferences we've had in the past. And this is an opportunity again to thank the media, because without the media, we can't achieve much. We've partnered with a lot of media houses and journalists who have supporting to our vision. And we hope that this baby is all ours, because in Africa, every baby is a community child, you know. So this baby, this Nkata baby, that is about development, is about everyone. And to think that women are more impacted by lack of development is something that pushes all of us, and both men and women. And we hope that there will be a serious attention to every word said here. And we are still inviting you guys to the conference itself, and not just for the paparazzi about who is here, who is going to be there, and who is going to come, but to go out with the content and to be our disciples in terms of spreading the message of Nkata. So I think I would yield the floor to the chairman of the organizing committee of the conference, Ambassador Nonyera Jisopara, to shed more light on the conference before we take questions. Is she there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'm sure the President General herself has done due diligence to who we are, what we are, and why we are here. And I wouldn't say much about that. And the Publicity Secretary, our own there, Nedinso, has done also justice for details. My simply is to let us know that we are set and ready. We have never been more ready for any conference than this. For the first time, we're bringing our conversation to Abuja, the federal capital. And that's also shows people that we are not just women from the Eastern region, but we are women with a voice, a global voice, to engage on global conversation, national conversation, regional conversation, and local conversation. And for that, because we're not just local or women organization, we have gathered men and women from across the nation, across the region, to show also the unity of our purpose and our conversation. And for this conference, we're going to be hosting it here at the heart of Federal Capital Territory at one of the best facility hotel, our partner hotel, Sandrelia Hotel in Jabi. And then with our partners, the media, as Nedinso has already said, we have a lot of the media houses, AIT, NTA, Arise, and print media, the Telegram newspaper, and a lot of them that are partnering with us. So you know that this conversation will be worldwide, and this conversation will be global. This conversation will be live. So we are actually asking everybody who has not engaged themselves to engage and be part of this awesome conversation, which the theme, of course, you know, is very interesting, as explained by our President General. And to grace this particular conference, we have the following people to partner with us and to put their voice in this conversation. We have as our chairperson, the retired Honorable Benjamin Carlo, the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, as our chairman. We have for our Father of the Day, His Highness Khalifa, the one and only Mohammed Sanusi II, the Emir of Kano and the former Central Bank Governor. We have for the Mother of the Day, our own Minister for Women Affairs, as our Mother of the Day. Her name is Honorable Imam Seluman Ibrahim. She will be our host minister. And we have as sponsors, as resource people, And speakers in this conference, we have the former Minister of Aviation, Osita Chidoka, as one of our powerful speakers. We have His Excellency, the former Deputy Governor of Nasarawa State and the former Minister of Defense, former Minister of Information, His Excellency Labram Maku, will be speaking. We also have Senator Prince Ned Nwoko will be speaking, and we're also partnering with the Ned Nwoko Foundation for this particular conference. We have His Excellency Senator Owele Rochas Anayo Korocha, the former governor of Imo State, will be adding his voice to this conversation. We have His Excellency Senator Dave Umeha, the Minister for Works and the former governor of Ebonyi State, will be adding his voice to the conversation. We have our own dear very one, Dr. Stella Iwago. She will be adding her voice in the area of agriculture. We have Her Excellency Erolu Olabisi Fayemi, the former First Lady of Ekiti State, a very powerful woman. She will be adding her voice to our conversation. We have Honorable Dabike Dabire, the DG of NIDO. She will be adding her voice. We have our own dear very one, Deme Ikoku, a powerful culture-oriented person, will be adding her voice from the angle of preserving our culture. She will be adding her voice. We have our own Senator Pius Ayim, the former Senate President and the former Secretary to the Federal Government, will be adding his voice to this conversation. We have the former First Lady, Dr. Meru Amakura, the former First Lady of Nasarawa State. We have Her Excellency, the former First Lady of Imo State, Mrs. Nkechi Rochas Okorocha, will be part of this conversation. We have Dayo Benjamin, the present Mandate Secretary of Federal Capital Territory. She will be adding her voice to the conversation, and a whole lot of many. I don't want to bore us, but we have, ladies and gentlemen, a whole lot of Nigerians, very credible people who will be speaking to us on this conference. Those that are here, that will be here physically, and those that will be speaking from online. So I want to let you know that we are not only ready, but we are very, very eager to change and to put our voices on the narrative of what's going on in our country and how we can participate as Nkata people. So ladies and gentlemen, it is my prayer that you will not be found missing in this very special and auspicious conference of Nkata. This is going to be one of the one we're bringing to the center. So we encourage everyone to be part of it. Thank you. I yield the floor back to you, Mrs. Neddy. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ambassador. So now, for want of time, we could take a few questions. You can direct your questions to the PG, myself, or the chairman of the organizing committee. Please introduce yourself and your medium, then you ask your question again. Are they muted?
Before we continue, I noticed that Chairman missed out our Mother of the Day, Dame Agari. Dame Timi Agari. Yes.
I told them a lot of people.
Yes, Mama Amnesty, yes, and yes. Mama Labor. Yes. Yes, she's our Mother of the Day. Yes.
Thank you, PG, for that. Thank you.
Okay, so
okay. Can you give us more details about the event?
More details.
Hello.
Okay. Yes, more details.
Who is asking?
Hello.
Who is asking? Identify yourself.
My name again is John Akubo of The Guardian.
Oh, okay. Great.
You see, we need, which day is the event? Okay. Which day is the event?
Okay, it's the 3rd of December. December 3rd is the day of the event. And I want to thank you, John Akubo. You were the first, you were here before 7 in this meeting. So I hope you will be first on the 3rd of December at Sandrilia Hotel, number 3, Solomon La.
Okay.
Jabi.
Right.
Solomon La Way, Jabi.
9 o'clock.
Okay. I want to follow up. I want to follow up with my question.
9 o'clock.
Okay. I want to follow up with a question. Hello.
Go ahead, John.
Okay. At this time, we know this is almost like a perilous time for us in Nigeria. The hard time is fighting harder. As you host this conference, I would like to know if you are going to spend some time to discuss on the issues that border on the hardship which is pervading the country at the moment.
Okay. Thank you, John, for that question. The whole essence of the conference, it's not just a talk show. It is addressing issues that concern every citizen of Nigeria, whether in Nigeria or in the diaspora. Because in a global village like we have now, every incident in any part of the world impacts the whole world. So there's no way the present situation in the country can be insulated from the theme of the conference. Do we have a sustainable economic plan in Nigeria? If we don't have, what political structure has led to the kind of leadership we have? Beyond that, is there an inclusivity in governance that brings the best of us, that takes the ideas from the best of us? So there's no way these things, there's no way we can talk about anything without rooting it to the circumstances of our country, the history and the present and the future. So that's the whole essence. It's not just we talking about something in vacuum. It is our digging into the past, looking at our present and projecting to what should happen, what introspection can lead us to a better future. So it will be at the heart of the conference. Yes, thank you. Are you okay with that?
Mr. Dobovich, I work with Blueprint Newspaper. I'm a little worried that this conversation is being organized by women from the Southeast, but there are very few women involved in terms of guests. Even we have more people from outside the Southeast involved in the presentation and all. Does it mean that the group did not get buy-in from people from the Southeast? Is it that what you're doing is not acceptable? Because I didn't hear the mention of any governor or a 7 House of Reps or National Assembly member. What is the reception like from the South?
Very good question you asked, Makoji. You are Makoji? Makoji?
No, my name is Chizoba.
Oh, Chizoba Ubeche. Yes. When the chairman was reading out the names of the people who are going to speak, if you listened carefully, you would have heard names of people from the Southeast. And because we said we want to make it a national conversation, you will hear names from the North, names from the West, names from the East. The chairman of this occasion is the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives. He's from the East. We have other guests that we did not mention their names from the East. And when you come, you will see it. The chief, the Ezigbo, will be breaking cola for us, Chizoba. I'm talking to you. Yes, we'll be breaking cola. So we are very, and the Southeast Caucus in the Senate and in the House of Reps received our invitations. I wish we were alive. I would have shown you our acknowledgement slips. Mm-hmm. You know, when we delivered the invitations to everybody. We have former governors, all the former governors from the East, they're all coming. Chizoba, you heard them. Rochas is from the East. Anyim is from the East. Umahi is from the East. Former governor of Imo State, again, is from the East. They are all from the East.
Then patient is from the East. Dr. Stella is from the East.
And so we you know.
I think you are agreeing with me. They are all former. I'm talking about incumbents, apart from the speaker.
We did not invite, I mean, we did not name incumbent northern governors. Neither did we name any incumbent western governor. We have sent out invitations. We don't know who will show up. So I don't want you to go away or to give the impression that there was something that you said that we are not accepted in the East. That is a very, very, very unfortunate, you know, wrong perception. We are accepted in the East. They are proud of us in the East, and it is the East, and they are supporting what we are doing here.
Enugu hosted 100% last conference. Enugu governor.
No, they are talking about this year.
No, it's for them to know.
Yes.
Yeah. Abia State governor was with us throughout. They've supported and they're part of it. All the governors are part of it. Next
okay.
question,
yeah. Good evening, all.
Good evening.
My name is Deborah Ocheni. I write for New Telegraph newspapers.
We are listening, Deb.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, we're here.
Okay, fine. My name is Deborah Ocheni. I write for New Telegraph newspapers. First question is, how old is this initiative? Secondly, is since its formation, what major impact has it made since the sorry, I'm not Igbo. Since this association is formed, what will you count as a major achievement? Then thirdly, what do you hope to achieve in specific term with this press briefing? Thank you.
Ned will take this question.
Okay.
And we are called Nkata for short. Nkata, conversation. Nkata for short. Ned, answer her, please.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Deborah.
My name is I report for the Abuja Inquirer. Just a follow-up to what Makoji asked. At the end of this conversation, how would you measure the impact?
Excuse me,
can
I think this is the second question. Can you just hold on while I answer Deborah? Right? Deborah Telegraph.
Yes, it's because the question goes hand in hand. Because what Deborah asked is what's the impact? And now I'm asking, how would you measure the impact?
Okay.
Yes,
okay. The first why I said you should hold on a bit while I answer Deborah is for us to isolate the questions and answer it in ways that everybody can understand, right? First, her question was about what do we intend to achieve from is it the conference or this press conference? Is Deborah still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, please,
The first question is, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. The first question is, how old is this initiative?
Okay.
Then the second question is, since its formation, what will you count as a major achievement, especially as it concerns insecurity, hardship, and what impact have you made in regard to in this regard? Then women inclusion too.
Okay.
Thirdly, the third question is, in specific term, what do you hope to achieve with this press briefing? What are your expectations from us this evening?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. One after the other. The organization is 3 years old. It was started in August 2020. Barely, you can say, I mean, nothing much happened because of the pandemic. So we can say every activity almost started in 2021, which is about 3 years old. Then the major achievements we've made, because it was powered by a vision of introspection about where are we and what have we lost or what have we gained, either as women or as Nigerians or as a regional group. We have in the 3 years made a lot of impact. We've addressed insecurity in the Southeast by meeting the stakeholders, the politicians, especially the men, telling them that we, the women, are the victims. We are more of the victims of poverty and insecurity, because women are the ones who lose their children, who lose their husbands, who lose their means of livelihood because of the insecurity in the Southeast. So, I mean, knowing how the country is, it is not something that is achievable. I mean, you can't achieve your goals in a jiffy or just by making a move or making moves. So we've done that. We've talked with the traditional rulers. We've talked with the governors and some of our political leaders and the traditional leaders. So some of those things are being addressed. For points where we had the unknown gunmen and all those things, our members were sent to those locations, giving out aids and helping some of the victims. And at least there are issues where you have governors, you have the lethargic attitude to insecurity. So we've been able to address these things with some of these governors. Granted, we've not achieved 100%, but it is not 0% either. So then we have in our last conference, we addressed a lot of issues. The major one that stands out for us is the issue of ovum sales in the Southeast, where young ladies are tricked into donating their eggs for I think the new IVF explosion in the region or even in Nigeria. So these are the unstated problems we have. These are not and I am using this opportunity to talk to you, young journalists. These are things that you should investigate, because I mean, these things are things we do in partnership with everybody, because the motto of our group is partnering for development. So I'm challenging you guys, you younger journalists, especially women, because we are the victims. Really, we are the victims. So these are things. It is not a day's job, and it is not something you say conclusively that you've achieved all you set out to achieve. But it's work in progress, and that is why we are taking the conversation. The important thing is, has the conversation started? Yes, it has. What are we doing? We are talking to these people. We are talking to people who are in the leadership positions. And it's a way of even galvanizing the women, because, okay, Chizoba asked a question about how many women are are on our list. We have a lot of women on our list. There are women who are really working hard to addressing some of these issues. We have our Dr. Stella Iwabu, who has been doing much in helping those living with disabilities. Then she's interested in agriculture too. She's very big in agriculture in Abuja, you know. So Nkata is so kind of thing. We work in partnership because there are other members who are in other groups. They have their own NGOs. They have ones they belong to. So we marry ideas and we try to work together as women and men too, because we have as men, we have a board of advisors that are only men, you know. So our vision is to partner with every willing positive person in Nigeria. It doesn't matter where the person comes from, and that is actually why we are bringing this year to Abuja, because the conversation concerns all of us. If there's insecurity in the Southeast, it affects somebody in the Northeast. If there's insecurity in the Northwest, it affects somebody in the Southwest. So that is that. Then what do we intend to achieve with this press conference? Of course, every pre-event press conference is to create awareness, to create a buzz around the conference, to wake people up, to conscientize the people and say, look, listen to what is happening. So we are now depending on you guys to blow the trumpet, because this trumpet is about all of us. Like J.P. Clark wrote in his poem, we are all casualties. It doesn't matter whether you're a man or a woman. The issues we are discussing, the theme of the conference is deeper than just the words that constitute the theme. It is something we want everybody to think about. We are thinking about reorientation. We are talking about inclusion. And when we talk about inclusion, we're talking about gender biases in politics. I'm a political writer. I'm an editorial board member, and I know how often these things come up. If it can be a lone voice, we can be the lone voice. We want everybody to be on the conversation. Why is it that Rwanda, with 61% of women in parliament, is now the business and tourism hub in Africa? What is happening to Nigeria? Why do we have 133 million or more people living in multidimensional poverty? Where are women? Where are women pushing as they ought to push? Are the women just playing politics just to serve the men? Why do we have women leaders? Why we don't have male leaders or men leaders, or so to say? So it is a conversation that everybody has to be around the table to contribute and to make an impact. So it is where we don't own any sole achievement. We are just sharing the conversation and let everybody, journalists, everybody, traders, engineers, doctors, and every profession. So we are just almost nudging everyone to get to the table. Let's know what is happening. Why is it that there's inertia in government? Why is it that people don't care? Why is it that people don't speak up? Why is it that people don't assume that, look, I must know who is my local government chairman? What does he owe me? Must we talk about the president all the time? What are the duties of our governors? What do they owe us? As journalists, what is our job? Are we as objective as we ought to be? Do we report issues that matter to the people? Are we just in Abuja, Lagos, and Port Harcourt? Do we go to the hinterlands? So those are the things. So we intend to, we are depending on the partnership we've created with the media houses, and we hope that we are all on the same page, because this is not anybody's fight. It's not Nkata's fight. And for somebody saying, oh, I'm not Igbo, no. I know that we've talked with some Europeans and other tribes, and they call the name properly. So I think it's a challenge for us. If we're talking about culture, we should be able to try to get to know each other. Not try to say, oh, look, I can't pronounce your name because I'm not from your area. I can't pronounce your name because what does it mean? It's okay to be inquisitive, but it's not okay to feel like, oh, look, I can't pronounce your name. Any other questions?
Good evening, everyone.
Yes, I have one question. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. My name is Ageda from the Nigerian Pilot. I was hoping you could give us the team again of the conference. And then I wanted to ask if the organization has followed up on some videos that come out from the Southeast. I remember there was one that a female nurse was coming from the hospital or so, and then she was beaten by some, I don't know if there are some guys. Anyway, she was beaten, and because she wasn't supposed to be outside. I don't know if the organization has followed up on any of these videos or some of these trends coming out from the Southeast. If you have any success story of any of them that you are waiting on. Thank you.
Yeah, I think I'll give the floor to the PG, to our PG to answer that question, because she lives in the Southeast, so she will be in a better position to answer that.
Okay, please, before she responds to that, my name is Justina Auta. I report for News Agency of Nigeria, NAN.
Okay.
Hello? Okay, yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, is also to further discuss. Coincidentally, the 16 days of activism is starting tomorrow. And we know it has to do with gender-based violence and how to create more awareness on ending it. And like what the previous speaker asked, she talked about cases of violence perpetrating, and some of these acts, some harmful traditional practices are being carried out by women, and we are talking about driving transformation through value reorientation. Is there anything you are doing towards encouraging women, not just women in the South, it's women nationwide, on ending this practice? Because these practices of violence that are being perpetrated by women, some are being perpetrated by women, some of these harmful traditional practices are being perpetrated by women. Is there anything you are doing to actually ensure that it end? And also, is there any sanction? Since it's a new association, you try to bring in new members. Is there any sanction you have put in place, or can a member, without putting in place some sanctions, that if you are in support of this, or you won't be allowed to be a participating?
Okay. Okay. Have you finished?
We seem to have lost our place. Just a follow-up to that. I was going to say, being a women's group, is this your own way of celebrating the 16 days of activism, or is it a coincidence?
Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
Yes.
Let me just answer one part of it. So I am very big on gender violence, especially domestic violence, which actually heightened with the COVID period when this association was vetted. Because of the lockdown, there was an exaggerated form of domestic violence, and it is something we've addressed. We've addressed specific issues. We've addressed them in general by talking to the traditional rulers. So we have specific ones we've been actually intervened in. Especially, there was one particular one, I think, that happened in Benue State, where the governor intervened prematurely and tried to just give the guy a pat on the back. And we stood up for the lady, even though she, of course, went back to the man and said people shouldn't interfere and all that, which is the normal attitude of most times abused women and all that. So it is something we are very concerned about. It is something we've intervened in several cases. Not to waste time, we're not going to list them one by one, but it is something we've been very active about. Then what you're asking about sanctions for members, fortunately, we've not had issues of gross misbehavior. in any way with our members, because I mean, it's not that we are perfect. There are issues, but it's not gotten to maybe supporting any evil practices against women or something like that. So we haven't had cause to even talk about it, not to talk of sanctions and all that. As you can see, we are all it's being a member of Nkata is not it's comes from an inner passion to do something, because most of our members are actually retired women, professionals in different fields. Even those who are still working like us are just feeling that, look, this is a platform. It's not owned by anybody, because the Nkata platform is not limited to women from Igbo land, right? It is open to women who are married to Igbos, because one thing with women is that we own our family, our ancestral homes, and we own our husbands. For those who are married, we own our husbands. So we have dual families. So you see some outside women who are married to Igbos who are members of Nkata. You see some of them from the Northwest, from the Northeast, from the Southwest, who are, so with women, there are no borders. And that is why it's an interesting association where you have a cocktail of women. We don't have boundaries for women, because you can marry to anywhere and you own the place you're married to. For younger, we have younger people on our team, and most of them are interested in being mentored, and most of them are interested in learning. But again, as women, I must be bold to say that when it comes to mentorship, men are more receptive to being mentored, because you see men saying, oh, my oga, even when the person is older than whoever the oga in quotes is. But for younger women, it's a bit difficult, it's a bit dicey. We've had a bunch of younger people in our team, and you notice sometimes they want to run before they crawl, and sometimes they get tired midway, or they feel they are missing out and all that. So, but it's a journey that we just started, and we feel that with things like this, conferences, with things like these press conferences, we can begin to create more awareness and have better acceptance about growth and about learning from the older ones. So I think there's no end to learning, and and for younger people like you ladies, it's still beautiful that we are ladies talking to ourselves and being journalists. I think journalism is the best job in the world, and for any woman who is doing it, to have too many branches of experiences that you gather, and the important thing is make it count to impact on your society, your family, anyhow. So I'm happy that at least 60% of you are women, and the young people are that. So to use the platform of journalism to achieve whatever your heart is passionate about. Thank you. Did I answer the question? That's part of the question. So our PG will answer the other part of the question. So I just wanted to clarify that as something I've dealt with on different occasions. Hello? Hello? Is everybody hearing me?
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
we are hearing you.
Okay. So I think, did I answer you properly? Are you okay? Okay, so I yield the floor to the PG.
Okay. The question was, what have we done about the violence against women in the Southeast? Is that the question?
Yes, that's one of the questions.
And whether what we are doing is because of the 16-day of action against violence, or is it a coincidence? I'll start with that. It is a coincidence. it is a coincidence that we are starting when the 16 days of activism is starting. But what have we done about violence against women? It's like almost a daily job for us. Anywhere we hear in the Southeast, especially in the Southeast, about violence against Nkata moves. And because you remember, we keep saying that we are partnering with a lot of NGOs. So when that happens, Nkata would quickly call the NGOs that are working in that town. If it concerns FIDA, if it concerns WACOL, if it concerns any of those NGOs, we mobilize all of them and all of us move together to the aid of that victim and make sure that we follow up, not just talking or advocacy. We follow up to make sure that the perpetrators of that violence is prosecuted. We partner with the courts. We go with the police. So it's almost like a day job because it happens on a daily basis. And Nkata, if we start reeling out what we have done, I mean, we can't end it because the thing is a long list. So we have intervened in almost all the cases that we are aware of in the Southeast, particularly.
Okay.
So I think we have almost covered the reason for this press conference before we start veering into 16 days of activism. We don't even wait for 16 days to act. We act on a daily basis. Thank you.
Okay, so any other questions?
Can I ask the last question before we close?
Okay.
And my question has to do with choosing Abuja for this conference. Nkata Inyom Igbo question, as in it's supposed to hold in any of the southeastern states. Why the choice of Abuja? Is it because of the insecurity that is in the southeast that drove people to Abuja?
I will answer that question. I think, please, what's your name?
Gloria.
My name is Gloria.
You just came because if
I introduced myself earlier.
You introduced yourself earlier. If you listened, that was the first thing the publicity secretary spoke about, and that was the first thing I spoke about, the reason why we brought it to Abuja. What insecurity? I will travel from, I live in the Southeast. So I'm going to travel from the Southeast to come to Abuja for it. Last year, we had it in Enugu. We said the reason, we have told you the reason. It is a national conversation. So we want to it at the capital where it is convenient for everybody to converge for this particular topic, for this particular national conversation that we want to have. It has nothing to do about insecurity. I live in Oka. That's where I live. That's where I'm speaking from. Thank you.
All right, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello. I dropped 2 questions on the chat box. I don't know if you can see it, but the last one talked about inclusive leadership, which is part of your theme for the conference. I would like to know what your association is doing towards promoting women political representation and economic empowerment, which will help to drive the transformation that we are all gearing for.
Yeah. Okay. I think I'll even though I'm not, I think our PG, having been a politician herself and a woman leader, would add her voice to that. But as I would want to answer that a bit, even if not satisfactorily. But for inclusive leadership, this is an opportunity to let women know that nobody hands you leadership. Nowhere in the world where anybody says, okay, because you're a woman, come take. No. So again, it's a challenge for you female journalists, young female journalists. I'm happy that you people are a lot. And the challenge we have as journalists is that you have very few women reporting on politics or writing on politics at all. I even had to ask some editors, why is this so? Some male editors. And the rhetoric is, oh, even if you bring all these young girls to the political desk, they'll slip into the either entertainment or they go to the things they call the softer sectors of reporting. So I think that beyond blaming the men for occupying the larger part of political positions, we should introspect too, and that is part of the conversation, because from villages where we come from, you see female leadership, you know, when, at least in Igbo land that I know, when you have the Omonas, you have the Omoadas. So there's always a complementary kind of leadership with them. So it is when you come to the cities that the women tend to sit back and feel that the men would do all the leading for them. And that is multifaceted. It is not about politics alone. It is about all sectors. You go to the churches, pastors and imams and whatever clerics, they talk down on women, and women sit there and they're laughing. You watch some of these pastors on online making derogatory statements about women, and you see women sitting there and laughing and clapping. These are subtle ways of empowering male chauvinism. So for us, it is not just about Nkata, it is about every woman standing up. It is not about, that is why we are using the subtle term of Nkata, which is conversation. Most of these things are done out of ignorance. Most are done out of chauvinism, right? Deliberate chauvinism. You know, you're a woman, you shouldn't do this, you can't do this. So, but for you ladies who are in the media, I think it's a challenge you people ought to take up and say, look, what can I do as a woman? How can I report politics in ways that women are empowered? And nobody, again, like the president used to say, nobody gives you leadership a la carte. You must fight for it. So how are we women going to be fighting for it? How many of you are on the political desk? How many are going to be reporting when they have conventions and party primaries and being objective to say, look, this is what transpired? Are you just going to take press releases from the male leadership and poets or something? Or do you do something? Do you talk to the female politicians? So it is not just, no one group can change the leadership structure. So it is still through this conversation we're talking about, through the Nkata thing, where we'll say, look, why don't women aspire to get into the leadership of the political parties? Why don't we, in Kenya, for instance, they have 7 female governors. Kenya, they are not, I don't think they're up to 200 million. Nigeria is 200 million, and we've never had a political party elect a female as governor. None has even been nominated as vice president or president by the male political parties. Then you see the women in politics dancing and accepting to be women leaders when you don't have men leaders. So these things is a cocktail of problems that we all have to dissect and look at. And that is why everyone encourage whoever you know to come for this conference. Let everybody come, because the important thing is when the conversation starts, nobody would, if the people that fought for civil rights sat back and waited for the white supremacists to liberate them or to abolish slavery, it wouldn't have happened. So people have to step up and stand out. So that is basically why we are bent on this conversation. We are not talking about violence. We're not talking about war. We are saying, let's have a dialogue that can change things. And part of it, part of women inclusivity in politics, nobody's going to do it for you. So everyone, you're a doctor, you're an engineer, wherever you are, make sure that it impacts on the narrative of male supremacy in politics. And it starts from women, because we raise our boys as leaders. You could have somebody who has 3 children, maybe 2 elder girls and maybe a younger boy. She's leaving the house and says, oh, Peter, look after your sisters. By doing that, you're subtly, as a woman, as a mother, ceding leadership to the young boy. And he grows up feeling, look, mommy said I should look after you. You know, so we women, even in ways we don't imagine, empower men to own or monopolize leadership. So it is not just about Nkata or the journalists or anything. We have to all work together to change the narrative, to be participant, to be active participant. That we are doing this is not because any of us is on salaries or any of us is getting any rewards for this, but we're just saying, what can we do to change things? So we can raise a conversation. It doesn't involve violence. It doesn't involve a lot of finance or something. So that is it. I hope things will change even from this press conference.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You've done well. Thank you very much. So, I think, Chairman, are you to thank them, the journalists?
Oh, well, I think we've come to the end of our press conference, and it's my honor and privilege to thank every member of the media that has, even though this is a very odd time and late, you pay the price to be here. That means you want to be part of our conversation, and we do not take that for granted. We're very grateful for your presence and your time. And to every member of Nkata that has also shown up, we want to thank all of us for our resilience, our persistence, and commitment to change the narrative and to engage in conversation that will bring about sustainable leadership and reorientation in our nation. So without having much to do, I want to thank you, and I expect to see all of you and more of you. I keep on spreading the word, the media. We can't do this without you. Once again, I want you to know that. So we would like you to spread the news and let the people know that Nkata is having a conversation. And this conversation is something that will impact all of us, our life in various ways. So please don't be left out. Don't keep quiet. Just spread the news. We're going to be on a lot of other social media for post-conference talk and interview, NTA, AIT, Arise as the week goes on. So we're going to continue to evangelize this mission of conversation on Nkata's conference. So please be part of the conference. Once again, it's going to be on the 3rd of December. The time is 9 o'clock and the place is all roads should lead to Sangrelia Hotel, one of the most beautiful hotels and places we want people to get at home and enjoy the environment. So please be our guests, and as you come, God bless you. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you. And just one extra information. You'll be getting the press releases after this. You'll get them on your phones, or you can send your emails, then you get them just immediately after the conference. Thank you. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
And don't forget to be apostles of change and powerful journalists that